You will not see the end of this day.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Every now and then, fighting game developers make a mistake and one of their characters has to be banned. And the reasons why these characters get banned are more numerous than you might think. So today, let's discuss every banned character throughout NetherRealm history. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe if you're new to this channel, and if you enjoy the video after watching it, make sure to leave a like as well. Without any further ado, let's get started. First up, we have Mortal Kombat 9, and in this game, the God of War himself was banned. No, not that God of War, I'm talking Kratos, and I mean the original Kratos before he had a beard and boy. Despite being marketed fairly often for Mortal Kombat 9, Kratos was never allowed at tournaments. But why exactly was the God of War banned? Was he too fast? Did he have an infinite? Was he overpowered in any way, shape, or form? Actually, no. The only issue is that Kratos was a console exclusive, only playable on the Sony PlayStation 3. And believe it or not, that's an automatic ban for most tournaments because everyone who played on the Xbox would have no idea what Kratos could do. And since they have no way of studying the matchup, that would make defeating Kratos almost impossible. You wouldn't know his frame data, his setups, any of that stuff. And as a result, Kratos was banned at pretty much every tournament because your goal as a tournament organizer is to have as many players as possible, and that's not achievable if only half the consoles can play. And Kratos is not the only character to be banned under these circumstances. Characters like Yoda and Darth Vader were banned for the same reason. And as a result, most fighting games have moved away from console exclusive characters because why go through all that trouble to make a character when you can't see him at high level tournaments or on streams, any of that stuff. And believe it or not, Kratos might be the least studied character that NetherRealm has ever made because a lot of players never owned a PlayStation. I, for example, had an Xbox 360. And next up, we have to talk about Skarlet because she was also banned when she first came out, and that's because she could dash cancel this move much faster. And if you want to know exactly how fast, check out the meter burn version of this move. Yeah, she could cancel at about that speed. It was basically instant, just like her meter burn version. And that's a big deal because in Mortal Kombat 9, you can attack immediately after dashing. So when you combine that with her ability to dash cancel immediately after her regular projectile, you would get infinites on block. Yes, you heard me correctly. Skarlet can make you block literally anything, cancel into the kunai, and then just keep going because her dash cancel was way too fast. And that's okay for the meter burn option because you only have so much meter you can burn before you run out. But when the regular kunai could do that, it was very busted. And eventually you would die from chip damage or the timer would just run out. And as a result, Skarlet was banned when she first came out. She was not allowed at any tournaments. However, thankfully NetherRealm did realize their mistake and she was balanced out to be a lot more fair. However, even so, after all the balances and nerfs, Skarlet still had a block stream that would drain half your life bar. That's right, she had 50% damage on block. However, keep in mind we are talking about Mortal Kombat 9 where pretty much every character was busted in some way or another. And now it's time for Injustice, and in this game it's actually Cyborg that was banned for a short period of time, and the reason why is very similar to Skarlet. In the Injustice game, there are plenty of projectiles that can also be done from the air. However, when done from the air, they tend to recover a little bit faster. And normally that wouldn't be a very big deal, but the problem is with Cyborg, he recovered so fast that you could do it over and over again instantly off the ground. And while doing so, the opponent had literally no way of closing in. They were stuck in an infinite block string. And as a result, they were just stuck there until the timer ran out or until they ran out of health. Now, if I'm being honest, doing an infinite like this is much easier said than done, but keep in mind if you own a hitbox, things become much easier. For anyone who's not aware, the hitbox controller doesn't have an analog stick or a D-pad. Instead, every direction is a literal button, which means you can tap up, then tap back, and then tap forward immediately. And this of course made Cyborg's infinite much easier to do. And even though a lot of people don't use a hitbox controller, it still gave those who did an unfair advantage. And as a result, poor Cyborg was banned for a short period of time in Injustice. Although keep in mind that NetherRealm had no way of banning him from online play, which meant that those who could do the infinite were an absolute nightmare to anybody they came across. And the same would also hold true for Skarlet and pretty much everyone else on this list. And now on to Mortal Kombat X, and in this game it's actually Spectral Ermac that was banned for a very short period of time. And the reason why had to do with the bizarre glitch that allowed Ermac to build a lot of meter very quickly. Because in this variation, Ermac has access to Soul Ascension. This allows him to levitate and float around the map. It's honestly a really cool move, gives you access to unique combos, all that amazing stuff. However, the the issue is, if Ermac did any special move while in this state, he would build an entire bar of meter. And as a result, it was way too easy for Ermac to build all 3 bars of meter. And you might be thinking that's broken because of the access to X-ray, but if I'm being honest, in this game, X-rays weren't that OP for most characters. Instead, the main issue was how crazy easy it was for Ermac to gain access to his combo breaker. Every time you touch this guy, he could just do a combo breaker and then build the meter back right away. That's why building meters so easily is a bannable offense in this game, but if I'm being honest, I think any unnecessary glitch like that should be banned regardless of how effective it is. If a character gains an unfair edge due to a glitch, then I do believe that character should always be banned, with a few rare exceptions. And next up, we may have an honorable mention because I'm not sure if this skin was banned or not, but I think it should have been because Infrared Scorpion makes it very tough to understand what's going on with Scorpion's attacks and moves. Believe it or not, there are plenty of costumes in fighting games that are banned simply because they're too complicated or too busy, and they just make it way too hard for the opponent to tell what's happening. They can't easily distinguish which limb is attacking them or which special move is coming out, little things of that nature, and as a result, I do think this skin should have been banned, but I'm honestly not sure if it was. Let me know in the comments section down below. Because even if it wasn't, I just wanted to point out to any casual viewers who might be watching that there are plenty of costumes that are banned at tournaments and fighting games. And then for Mortal Kombat 11, we have an interesting example because I can't think of any characters who were downright banned in this game, but I can think of certain variations that were outright banned. For example, here we have Robocop. It was actually banned to use his flamethrower and his terminal strip in the same variation. And not just for tournaments, this variation was banned altogether, which meant even online you could not take advantage of the cheese. So why was this combination of moves banned? Well, because if you landed the flamethrower in the corner, you could go for the command grab and it was 100% guaranteed. The opponent couldn't mash buttons, they couldn't duck, nothing. Once you landed the flamethrower, that command grab was 100% guaranteed and there was nothing the opponent could do to escape it, so it's just guaranteed damage. And in Mortal Kombat 11 especially, NetherRealm was trying very hard to keep this game balanced and remove any of the cheesy, unfair nature of past games. So in a game like Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat X, maybe even Injustice 1, something like this might not have been banned, but in Mortal Kombat 11, it was deemed too unfair for tournament play and even online play, and you know what? I agree. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to abuse stuff like this. I mean, Raiden had an infinite for a short period of time, but it's not fair to the opponent when you use stuff like that. And as a result, I'm kinda glad that NetherRealm banned the move, and of course it was fixed, so now it's completely okay to use these two moves in the same variation, whether it's online or at a tournament. Alright everyone, and there you have it, the most banned characters in NetherRealm history. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think these characters should have been banned, or do you think NetherRealm overreacted? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts down below. And then while you're down there, make sure to leave a like because it really does help my channel out a ton. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell, that way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.